Stunning new allegations in the Benghazi investigation. A former State Department diplomat accusing staff members of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton of secretly removing politically damaging documents before turning over files to the Accountability Review Board. Investigative journalist Sharyl Attkisson broke the story. She joins us. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, what happened?
Ray Maxwell, who is a former Deputy Assistant Secretary, very well respected, told me that he witnessed an after-hours session in the basement of the State Department in an operations center in which he was told by an office director that they were under orders to separate documents before they went to the Accountability Review Board, to separate out anything that could be embarrassing, as he put it, to the 7th floor or the front office, 7th floor referring to Secretary of State Clinton and her advisors.
So did he actually see this? Did he go down there and look at this basement as they sort of culled through the records?
Yes, he heard about the operation. He was not invited specifically to it, but one of his employees, he says, was there. So he stopped in on a Sunday. He was told, he says, what the purpose was. He went in, he sat down, he went through some papers. He said he didn't feel right about it. He asked, he says, is this ethical? And the office director answered, these are our orders. And then he claims that while he was there, Secretary of State's Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills and her Deputy Chief of Staff Jake Sullivan came in for a few minutes, acknowledged him, spoke to him briefly. He says they appeared to be checking in on the operation, and they left.
Why did Maxwell come forward on this?
I've been speaking with him for a long time, and he has spoken to Congress in the past behind closed doors, so they have a lot of this information and probably more. He was not ready to come forward initially. He had job concerns and family concerns. He has since retired from the State Department, and he set his family concerns aside because he felt this was very important.
Does he know what was removed, what Congress didn't see any documents that were taken out?
He has no idea. He says the instructions were to take out anything that could prove embarrassing or damaging. That would be up to whoever was sorting through them to determine what kind of material that was.
Now, the ARB, they were supposed to be the ones investigating this for the State Department. Did they know anything about this?
The ARB claims that it had unfettered access to documents and people, and when they
got their documents from the State Department.
In part, the thing that made Ray Maxwell think about this was when he heard them defending their probe as independent and saying that they had this unfettered access, he thought to himself, no, they didn't. They say in their defense, or the State Department says, they had many sources of information that people could even call them directly with information that they wanted to submit, so it would have been impossible for any single source outside to control the flow of information. That's what the State Department says.
And here's what the spokesperson from the State Department said today when she was confronted with it. She says, in part, the ARB had full and direct access to State Department employees and documents. Any accounts to the contrary, like the one you mentioned, mean your report, are completely without merit, completely ill-informed. These reports show a complete lack of understanding of how the ARB functioned. It collects its own documents directly from anybody in the department. There is a department-wide call for information to be given directly to the ARB. So that's the response of the State Department.
And that may be true. They did issue a call, but as one person who worked there told me, people were in general not willing to reach out directly and speak to the ARB. Just because the ARB made the call certainly doesn't mean that all the employees who had information spoke with them, but they did have the door open for that.